Hi, I'm Jenny. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for spending some time with me today. So today I have something that's either pretty cute and fun or kind of weird and Frankensteinish. So I guess it depends on how you look at it. So I had this idea. I was looking through magazines and I wanted to make some paper dolls, but I didn't want them to be just the plain old magazine cutouts, So I have like some cats and stuff, but I didn't want it just to be this. I wanted to incorporate things that were not usually people, right? So I have some of these cutouts, and then I have some stuff that is, non-person, inanimate objects. And so I went through magazines and cut out some inanimate objects, and I made paper dolls out of them. So I'm going to show you the ones I've already done, and then we'll make one so you can see the process I used. So here's the first one, and this is 2 different perfume bottles from ads. And then this is a model. Now, on all of these, I used the whole person I cut out. Like I used the arms, the head, and the legs from that person. Like I didn't mix and match people. You certainly could. I just didn't. So this ad is an ad where the model, they're inside these letters, and this one's inside an O, and she's like touching the top. So I put brads on her arms so you can move her arms, so you can be like, don't cry for me, Argentina, right? That kind of stuff. Or you can have her down. You can maybe run one behind the other, if you wanted her to do some kind of weird contortion thing, I also thought she could do like, YMCA, like she could do the YMCA, right? Why? Yeah. So anyway, silliness, but it was fun. So that one's the first one. This one is probably the weirdest one. This was a glass. So I'm going to move this. You can see here's the base of the glass. This is blown glass, and it was like a wine glass. This was a fancy hand blown expensive wine glass. And so this is the top of where her head is where the top of the glass was. So I have put her arms on here. This arm was kind of hidden on the model. So I just gave her, some an elbow thing here. So she can, have her hands, her legs. I put, I didn't make them move up here. I thought about cutting that off, but then I decided that it was more fun at the knees. So we can, she can be like dancing along, right? So I don't know, or maybe maybe she's doing Thriller or something. I don't know. Like I can tell you, these are kind of crazy. So, it was one of those things. It's like, this is crazy. Why am I doing this? Right? So, but it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun, I can tell you. Like, you can have them dance, oh, yay, or, kick to the side, or, kick up one foot, or, like, oh, running along, like you'd have them like they're running along, right? All right. This one is one of the crazier ones. In the picture, I had a hard time cutting the arms off of the picture and stuff, and there really wasn't much arm, so I attached the arms. I did not put any brads on those. This is a pair of earrings, and all of this is a wall sconce. It's a picture of a really funky, fancy wall sconce that I cut apart. So this part was down here. It went like this, and so I cut it apart and gave her a hat. Her legs I made out of earrings. So this is a picture you can see this way. This would be the part that attaches to your, it's a dangle earring with amethyst and I think garnets. And then I took the boots that she was wearing. These are the shoes she was wearing, and gave her those. So she's kind of funky here with the, with the boots and stuff. So like, kick up your heels, run that way. Flying along, maybe. I don't know. We could give her some wings and she could fly. And then here's the last one that I made. I just love this stack of games and stuff. So this model, this hand was tucked behind her in the original picture. So I don't have another hand for her. So I just went ahead and attached it. But this one I gave her, you can see her shoulder. She moves at the shoulder and at the elbow just with brads. So you can move her arm around and whatever. You could have her hold something. You could even put something here like she's holding something. You wouldn't see her hand if you put that over it. And then her legs are down here, and I made them like she could do the splits. Oh, we're having a game, yay! Or we're gonna play Twister or something. We're gonna play Twister, and I'm gonna have to do the splits. So, or maybe not, and she can just cross her feet and have a seat. She could do crisscross applesauce, maybe, I don't know. So this stack of games was a lot of fun. Okay, so those are the ones I made. So let me show you the people that I still have. I showed you those a minute ago. So I have these women that I have cut out. And I chose them mostly because they were facing forward. And most of them, you can see both of their arms and their legs. You can see, like, if I cut this one apart, I would probably cut it up here because you can see her knees and stuff under here. So I would probably cut it up so she had separate legs, unless I'm covering this. And then we could put a brad here and here so that her shoulder and her elbows move. This one, you can see part of her is behind. So I would probably attach this arm to whatever new base I'm going to use and then just make this one movable. And she doesn't have any legs showing. So this one might just be the arms. We might have to put something down here. Honestly, what she's wearing in and of itself I thought was fun. I just cut her out because it was fun. She is kind of a different story with because her feet are crossed. So it's going to be hard to separate those. So we could leave them crossed, but our arms would be really easy. We could do a brad at the shoulder and the elbow on both sides. This one, we can see her legs and they're separate, and her arms are separate. So we could definitely do something with that. This one, we've lost the arm on this side, so if we do something with that, we only have one arm here to play with. So we might put something up this way so we can't even tell that there's an arm there. But I love her shoes here, and so her legs would be easy to deal with. And then this one, we have the arms and stuff. Her face is in shadow, though. It looks very dark, so the lighting on this one's kind of maybe a little funky. And then this one, we could cut the arm here. We can see where it goes. So we can see both arms and both of the legs. And so I think we could cut those apart and, give her joints at the hips and the knees and the elbows and here, depending on what we attach it to. Now, part of the question is what you're going to attach it to. So I just cut out a bunch of random stuff that I thought might make fun paper doll things. So now these all came from a fashion magazine. They came from, I don't know if it was Vogue or In Style. Could have been either one of those. I have old copies of those. And I have glued them to cardstock. I had some old, just random green cardstock that I used. So I glued them cardstock before I cut them out. I just kind of generally glued to cardstock, and then did the fussy cutting. And I did the same thing with this stuff. So I thought some of this stuff was fun. Let's find a kind of a basic one. She's pretty basic, I think, because she's not wearing a lot. But I thought it might be fun, to do like a flower pot. And put her, and you could do it upside down if you wanted to, and do her head up there and her arms and stuff coming out almost like a baby doll dress, but a flower pot. So I've got that. This is also a flower pot. This one I went ahead and cut through here. These pictures came from, there were a couple magazines. One of them was like a DIY magazine. This one had like painting your flower pots. And then one of them that I took things from was like a collectible, can't think of, like flea market find kind of. It might have even been flea market finds. So there's a magazine with that. So then, something like this. So this one, when after I did it, I just cut a slit here so I could kind of, put heads in through there and see, if I wanted to do that. So that would be fun, I think. And you could even move it down a little bit, and have her shoulders coming out here. But so that one's fun. Here's a milk can that came from one of the flea market find things, which I think is funny. There's a lot of double entendres that go with the milk can, right? But maybe she's a milkmaid. If she has a milk can, she'd be a milkmaid. So this one we could slit here and run her head in so it would come up a little bit behind her. This would be, let me grab some scissors. Probably should do this with a knife, but we'll just try it with some scissors here. So I just want to give you some ideas of things you could use. I think, anything you have would be, any magazine, like a Better Homes and Gardens, something with house, housewares and stuff in it. Anything like that would be fun. Furniture. The flea market finds had some cool furniture. I thought about doing like an armoire and stuff, and that reminded me of like some of the Beauty and the Beast characters. That would be kind of fun. So see here with the milk can, we could run it like this, and then we could attach her shoulders. We could detach them here, and we could attach them to the handles. We could attach them to the handles, so they're actually, it's a little stranger maybe down here, and that would drop her shoulders, and we could drop her legs a little bit. So that could be a lot of fun, I think. I have an advertisement. So dish soap, Myers dish soap, but there was another one. There were like 3 of them. Here they are. And you could stack them, like you could do something, or you could turn them upside down, like the one over here with the perfume bottles. One of them wasn't really big enough, so the other one, I put one on, and then I put the other one on and just trimmed off the top. So you could do something like that if you wanted to. I think this might be better. This one, I think she's a little big. I think if a little bit smaller person. Is this one smaller? A little. She's a little shorter. That might be fun for her because we're missing her side. Like if we cut her off and put her one arm here and then put her legs down here, that could be kind of fun. I'm gonna put that one to the side because I think that one might be fun. Let's see what else. I have a smaller milk can. We could do a smaller one. Here's a trophy that you could do maybe with the milk can. If you wanted to do, if you wanted to layer them, you could layer the trophy in the milk can. Here's like a compact. So that might be fun. Like you could do, like there's you could maybe do a layer and make kind of a square dress. Here's another compact. So you could do a round on top and a square here again, and layer them to create like that hourglass kind of shape. Because you're going to cut all this away. We're just going to attach the arms and the legs. There's some jars. I have some jars, which I thought were fun. Here are some of the earrings that I used for eyes, that I put for eyes on her. If there's a big enough one, I suppose you could use it like it looks almost like a diva breastplate from an opera. That's somebody singing, the Valkyries, right, but you could do the jar, I think, and you could do a pair of jars. If you want to do something long, you could even do like 3 of them to make it long. If you wanted like a long and then to put the legs, like just feet here and the arms here, maybe that would work. Let's go back to this one. Maybe let's look at this one. What else? So I'm just trying to see. I've got some flowers. I feel like some flowers, that might work well on this one. I feel like that might be fun as a body to do flowers, right? And have the arms coming out of the flowers. And then you could even put something else down here. I've got, what do I have? I've got another compact, maybe could put under it. Or one of the jars. Oh, look, here's a chandelier. You know, that might be fun. You could do the flowers on top and the chandelier on the bottom. Like maybe take that off and run it down into the chandelier and put the legs out of that. Or you could turn the chandelier upside down so that it has more of a different shape. We could, you know, anything can become a body. So it's really just a question of when you're looking at it, you know, what kind of you know, creativity does it spark in your head? You know, when you look at it, do you think, oh, that would be funny, or something like that, right? I have this one trophy. I think there's another trophy here somewhere. Here's a stack of books with a trophy on it. So we could take this trophy off and kind of just put this one over it. So we'd have a stack of books with the trophy. That's kind of fun. I kind of like that. Might do that one too. So that one would be good. I have some fish pillows that I cut out. I know. So these are pictures of pillows that have fish on them. But I was like, like what if we did that and we had these fish going different ways. You know, and then we have, you know, or we could make her like a little mermaid. Oh, she could be a mermaid. That would be fun. Like what if we cut her arms here and did this and then cut this out so it was like a mermaid. Yeah, maybe we should do that one. Maybe that's the one we should do. All right, well, I've got several ideas now, so let's start with one. Let's try the mermaid one, just because I'm not sure what to do with this without, oops, I knocked something off here. Sorry about that. I'm just not sure, you know, she doesn't have any legs here. She's holding this dots thing. Okay, so we got to figure out how to cut this so that we can, do we want her arms to move or do we want to just slide these under? Let's see. Could do her shoulders there. Might have to just cut off the skirt and then add it underneath and trim it. Because we're going to have to cut off a bunch of this. Okay, so let's do that. Let's cut her into a couple of pieces here so we can work with her. And we'll see what we can make. So like I said, I've just kind of done a basic cut them out. I've just put them on some cardstock and did some fussy cutting. I have brads. I have several different sizes. I have some really small black ones. These are really small and they're different colors. They're blues and greens. And then I have some larger ones. And then I have some very large ones, which I think are too big. I think these are just really too big. So, and then I'm just kind of gluing things basically with a glue stick. And I've got some tape to hold it down in the back for reinforcement. And I'll show you what I mean. So like I glued this on and it was just this one little piece. So after I glued it, I put a little bit of tape to reinforce where those go because I want to make sure they don't come apart. Because when I put them into a journal, this is all going to be covered. You're not going to see this. I'm probably going to, whatever part I can move, I'm not going to glue, but I will glue the rest of it down and then leave the parts that I can move. So, okay, let's see what we can do here. Didn't quite get that. So I am not the world's best fussy cutter. I am gonna cut out what she's holding though. I don't want to, I don't care about the dots here, so. So I just, I have a small pair of scissors here. So I would just suggest using something small if you have it. Let's see, there's her hand. Part of her arm is kind of hidden back here, so I'm going to cut this a little wider than it really looks like. Like part of her arm is sort of back here. So this is part of the jacket from the front, but I'm going to cut it so I can see how much is there. Let's see, and how much of this are we going to need? We might want her hair. Do we want her hair to come on the front of that maybe? Okay. I'm going to leave some of her hair here so I can add that to the front. Okay, so there's one arm. And then, so it's really just kind of, when you're looking at these, it's just kind of a matter of determining, what you could take off and what's going to help you. So I always, if I can cut a little extra off of the shoulder or whatever to give me a little more room so that I can always trim it later. But then that gives me a little more to play with when I'm attaching it. Okay, so I cut a little bit of her hair and it's kind of, now it's all really straight. So before I start layering that over, I'm just gonna kind of give her a little haircut here. And I'm gonna cut it up here so that when I put those fish on there, when I put that pillow there, I can put her hair on top. You'll see what I mean. So I've cut up next to her hair and next to her neck so that I can put that up here as part of her neck, and her hair will come down over the top of it. Okay, so, and we're gonna have to cut that down, but we can do that after. So you can see on the back, I don't need a lot of that. We can go ahead, honestly. I was gonna cut it after, but I think it's easier maybe to trim it now, just because we don't want it sticking out. So we're gonna just trim that off. Yep. And I can see this has happened a couple times. I just kind of used basic glue stick when I put these together. So sometimes when I cut it apart, where it's glued came apart, so I need to just re-stick it a little. Okay, so that's what's left of her. Do we want the fish pointing up like that and then the other one pointing down? Or do we want to do this one down and the other one up? Does it matter? Let's see, does it matter, do you think? Up and down, fish pointing down. We could do both of them down. Let's see, okay. Down, down, up. Down or up. Kind of like them both going the same way, I think. I don't know, maybe down and up. Okay, I think going down. I think down. All right, so I'm just gonna still have a little bit sticking out here. just going to put a little bit of glue on her body here so that we can slide that in and stick it. You know, and if you try something and take it apart and you finish it and you're like, ew, that's terrible. It's okay. It's just, you know, they're just magazine cutouts. It's not like it's the end of the world. If you ruin one, it's no big deal, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape here just to reinforce where that neck meets, because that's part where it's kind of the most vulnerable, right? Okay. All right, so that's good. I like that. And then we'll do this one down as well. And okay, so we'll just, we want it on top or underneath? Underneath, on top. No, do we just want to do the one? No, I think we need both. And I think there's a little bit of the edge of the pillow here I didn't quite cut off, maybe. Didn't quite get. Trim that up a little. You could certainly ink this up. You could certainly use antique things and black and white photos. That might be fun to pick out. I mean, a lot of the model photos are black and white. You could pick out some black and white photos, color like the lips, or you could use some old pictures of people, you know, and colorize them a little bit, color the lips a little maybe, and then use like antique furniture. That would be kind of fun, I think. I think. Okay, so I've got this. Let's kind of trim it just a little to integrate it here. So I'm just gonna kind of trim there just so it's kind of all one thing here. Right. There we go. Okay. Now let's figure out what to do with her arms. How are we gonna do that? So you can put them behind if you don't want to cover up any of what you have. Like, so she's got this shoulder, so I could put a tab here so that it moves this way, and then we could do another one there. That one might be good. So let's pull a brad here and put one in there. Probably, I wonder if I should do the elbow first. Okay, this isn't opening. Open, there we go. Maybe should we do the elbow first, do you think? So I'm pretty sure I want it there. And do we want to do one on the elbow? I think maybe we do. Okay, so at first I was just kind of pushing the brad through, but because I've got cardstock behind it, that was a little difficult sometimes. If you have a little craft knife, that would probably work. On the other hand, if you just want to poke your scissor through there just a little bit, just so you've got something to thread it into, and then thread it on. Oh, looks like I've pulled apart a little bit here where I've, yeah, need to put more glue on that. There we go. That's stuck back down. Me and my glue, I'm all messy here. Okay, so I've stuck my brad through there. Just be sure that you're far enough away from the edge that it's not going to tear. So see, I've come in from the edge here to make sure that it's not going to tear on me. So that brad goes through. And then we just want to open it up So open it up, you know, and make sure it's turned. Like your brad needs to be small enough so that it's covered, the back of it's covered by the, you know, whatever, the arm or anything, which is why you don't want the small ones. You can use a bigger one, but you might have to cut off these little things, and then that might be sharp. So you might consider not using a bigger one, or if you do use a bigger one, you know, consider cutting that and then using a little bit of a file or something on it to make sure it's not sharp on the back. All right, so we've got, well, that's good. So she can move her arm here or here. Okay, so then do we want to put one on her elbow? All right, where do we want to cut her elbow apart? So we're gonna have to cut it apart and layer it. So I'm looking here. So I'm gonna cut it right above the elbow. And then I'm gonna layer this so that you can see. Let's see, so would that be about, I think that's about where we'd want it. All right, so again, I'm just gonna lay it down. Let me put it down here so you can see where it goes. So you can see I'm just gonna kind of line this up, and I'm gonna put my finger there so when you turn it, kind of give yourself an idea of how it's gonna look. Is that where I want it? Do I want it down here? No, okay. So this one's gonna go on top, so let's give ourselves a little hole here. And then where do we want that? Do we want it to line up there? Let's see. Or do I want it to line up here? I think I want it to line up here because, you know, since we're cutting apart something that is not meant to be cut apart, you know, the body parts are not going to fit exactly. So you kind of have to, really, you just kind of have to fiddle with it until you get it where you think you might want it. It's really just a basic matter of, you know, messing with it. Now I have these tiny little brads and I can't put them through because my finger doesn't want to work that way. There we go. You know, so this is not an exact science. This is really, you know, mess with it until you figure out how you want it to be. Okay, so I've got it now where, you know, I can move her arm. So I can move her arm this way. I can move it up high, right? It looks like she's still got some stuff attached to her hand here that I didn't cut off. Right? And that will happen too. You'll look at her hands and you'll be like, oh, I didn't quite get that trimmed. There we go. So she can either be, you know, waving, hi, right? She can put her hand on her hip. She can, you know, put it in front and hold something. If we want her to hold something, she can, you know, put it up, right? Yay, up here. Okay. For now, let's put her hand on her hip. I like that. That's kind of fun. All right, let's figure out what to do with this arm. This one doesn't have nearly as much. Part of the arm was behind her, remember? And I have completely taken this off of the cardstock, which is not good. Part of the arm was behind her, so we don't have as much to work with over here. So that might be, that might mean that we don't really want to put an elbow in on this side. We could, I mean, but you can see we've lost a little bit of our arm here. So maybe we just want this arm to be just at the shoulder, right? And we can kind of trim it a little bit. You can see we've kind of lost a little of our arm. But we can straighten it out a little so there's not quite so much. So I'm thinking over here, because there's not very much to it, I don't know that I want to cut off anymore. I think I just want her you know, I think I just want it to be a shoulder turn. And then that can be, you know, she can be here or here. Although, I don't know. I don't know. Should we? Should we give her an elbow? Since the other one has an elbow, does she need an elbow on both sides? Well, let's put it on the shoulder, and then we'll decide about the elbow. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to just line that shoulder up. Again, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Where do I want it to go? If it's moving, I just want to kind of hold it a little bit so I know where it's going to move from and to. And, you know, some of those, it's not going to line up. You know, like this, it may not be lined up over here because I may have to put it in a different place. But that is kind of, you know, kind of the quirkiness of this. You know, this is not a high art doll, and this is not a, you know, fancy schmancy. this is silliness. So, you know, just remember it's silliness, and it'll all be good. You know, and again, I don't know, I can't decide. Part of me thought, oh, that's cute. And part of me thought, that is really weird. So I struggled actually for a couple of days. I've been trying to decide whether to even make this video. All right, so we've got her arm over here, so she can raise that one. Hi. Hello. Right. And put it there. So I don't know. I feel like she needs an elbow. But I just hate to make her arm shorter. I mean, I suppose I could add maybe a piece of cardboard or something. I just feel like she needs, you know, needs an elbow, but I think if I do that, it's gonna come up pretty far. Yeah, I don't think there's really enough arm there, so I think I'm just gonna stick with, you know, her being able to wave at us with this hand, you know, and then moving this one a lot more because it's bigger. So we could make those meet, right? She could look like she's, you know, got her hands over here, because she was holding something in front. So, you know, we could do that. All right. I like the idea of her being a mermaid, though. So I want to, let's see, how much of this do you think she would have as a fin? Well, I guess we could always cut some off. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna glue her down on here. And then we'll trim it. We'll trim it to fit. Okay. All right, so let's move our arm here. All right. Okay, let's do this one too. Okay, and then let's trim that. So it's definitely more, you know, fish fin. That may not have been the way to go. I don't know. Well, maybe not. Maybe not quite so much. I probably could have. We could cut in. Let's see. Well, what does a mermaid usually have? Does it usually come up? is it like out and then in like this? Will it come in some? Let's see. I'm trying to think if she had scales. Where would that be? Would it come out and then up and down? More like that, only fat on one side and not on the other. Oh, there we go. Now she's got fish fins at the bottom. Okay, that's just silliness. So she's like, yay, see, look. It's too bad she doesn't have a fish or something to hold, right? She's got a fish here, she's got fish. Okay. All right, you get the idea. So that is the basic idea, is that you just kind of cobble together a body from other things, and then you add some brads to the arms, the elbows, and you can add them to the legs if you want to. This one, remember, we had some on the leg. I did the whole leg. I didn't really do any at the knees, except this one, which I used the jewels for her knees. I made the earrings so that she had knees. So, you know, and this one has some knees, right? She was wearing this long dress, and so I just cut the dress apart and gave her legs, and then I gave her knees. Okay. So put the brads, you know, wherever you just want to mess with it until you get, you know, a semblance of a movable person with objects for the body. So like these are pillows, other body pillows. I don't know. I don't know. I can think of all kinds of puns and stuff. So I hope you had a good time today. If you try this, let me know. Post a picture or something below, and let me know what you did with it. And let me know if you think it's just weirdly Frankensteinish or cute, because I'm just not sure. I just can't decide. I think this one's kind of weirdly Frankensteinish and this one's kind of cute. You know, so I hope you had a good time. If you're still with me, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, hitting that like button. It really helps me out a lot with the algorithm. Until next time, remember, use what you have to make your life more beautiful. Bye.